Here's to feeling good all the time.
My name is George. I'm unemployed and I live with my parents.
Hey, you know what would make a great coffee table book? A coffee table book about coffee tables.
I don't have a square to spare. I can't spare a square.
But I don't want to be a pirate!
Buongiorno! Benvenuto a Seincast.
Hello and welcome to Seincast.
Una retrospettiva su tutti I 180 episodi di Seinfeld.
A retrospective on all 180 episodes of Seinfeld.
Ospitato da due ragazze che si sono malapena a correre la propria vita. Il mio nome è Vinnie.
Being hosted by two guys who can barely run their own lives. My name is Vinnie. Mi nome è Giuseppe.
Oh, hello, Giuseppe.
You know, there wasn't really that much Italian in this episode, but it felt appropriate.
Had to. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, there's one Italian in this episode. Ho-ho! Ladies.
I don't know. How did you feel about the Italian representation in this episode? Was it accurate? Was it offensive?
I mean, my parents do not talk with us after everything they say. A lot of hand gestures in my household and biting of hands when they're angry.
Oh,
when they're
really?
upset. Well, when I was younger, my mom used to always bite her fingers and then swear in Italian.
Oh, you know, that's a thing. Are you familiar with Grease at all?
The movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. The music?
There's one of the T-Birds, Sonny, who's very Italian. They're like after the principal dresses him down, he bites his fist. Really
yeah,
hard.
okay.
So it kind of reminded me of that, maybe. This is a real interesting episode that we got in store today. I'm really looking forward to it. Before we do that, I just wanted to let all of our listeners know who are in the New York area that there's a really cool Seinfeld trivia event coming up on Monday, November 23rd at Slattery's in Manhattan. It's on, I think it's 5th Ave and 36th Street. It's like a block or two from the Empire State Building in Midtown. The theme of the night is, technically Seinfeld Thanksgiving, but we're doing 5 rounds of trivia. The third round is all about the mom and pop store episode. Okay. So there you go. Ties into the season, as it were. Macy's, Thanksgiving Day Parade.
So bone up on your mom and your pop.
Yep. And I just wanted to throw that date out there since that is right around the corner. If anyone listens to the show, lives in the New York area, and wants to play some Seinfeld trivia, I'm going to be hosting it. 5 rounds of trivia. We start at 8 o'clock. The company that hosts these trivia nights is called Trivia AD. You can check them out on Facebook, Twitter. They also have a website, just triviaad.com, and you can see all of their upcoming events. Seinfeld is a really big trivia event for these people.
That's their biggest draw, I would say.
Well, believe it or not, and I hate saying this, I think Friends has them beat.
Damn.
But Seinfeld always brings in a pretty good crowd, which is surprising. I know we're going to do a Festivus trivia night on the 23rd of December. Okay. So look forward to that as well. That's usually one of our bigger nights. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. The trivia gets pretty intense, so definitely bring your A game. But again, that's on Monday, this coming Monday, the 23rd of November at 8 p.m. at Slattery's in Midtown. Should be a good time, though, didn't we?
We should say that this Trivia AD, this Seinfeld night, actually rekindled our love of Seinfeld and wanting to really bone up on our trivia. Because we did a trivia night about 4 years ago and went in cold, I believe. Still won.
We dominated the dojo.
Well, it's funny. So that night relates to this episode because we named ourselves Penske Material. That was our team name.
Yep.
And I would even argue that this podcast originated from that night because we talked about we should do a podcast about Seinfeld. We got people here that love the show. So that's kind of, I think, where that idea originated from.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that from that night, it took another 3 years for it to actually happen.
I just opened my mouth and out it came.
Yeah. Oh, boy. But yeah, Vinny, wouldn't you recommend, though, as someone who used to play Seinfeld trivia, it's a great time.
Oh, it's a blast. From the casual fan, and I would say even more so to the hardcore fan, this trivia company really goes all out, and the tiniest of minutia is up for grabs. So they will get harder as each round goes along. So the casual fan will probably enjoy round 1, but the hardcore fans will enjoy rounds 3, 4, and 5 because it really tests your Seinfeld knowledge and how dedicated you are to paying attention to these episodes.
For sure. And usually when I write questions, I don't do this so much anymore, but I used to send them to you as like a up to par.
Litmus. Yeah. I got a question for you off the bat for this episode we're about to do. What office number does George take at Senilac, home of the Penske file?
Oh, God. Well, I did just watch the episode this morning while I was having breakfast. I know it's 3 digits.
Okay. And if I were to give you a hint, it's related to a Kanye West song.
Oh, you're
that helps
you lost me already.
I only know that because of the Aziz Ansari bit. That's the only reason why.
I want to say, too, it's either like a round number or it's a palindrome. Like, there's a 0 in there.
That's right.
Am I right?
That's good. That's very good.
It's a really long-winded approach to guessing a number.
We got a show to do, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going with...
You got 9 choices.
Yeah. I'm going with 808.
Nailed it.
Yo, hey-o. I was this close to going to 6, but I don't know. Maybe that was the lip reader jumping into my head.
So that potentially could be a question at trivia.
Oh, no.
So,
Hang on.
Buyer beware.
We will not get that specific. There will be some really painful questions, but that one's almost, I think, too hard. Here's a question for you, Mr. Smarty Pants. When George is at his interview with Tuttle, the receptionist comes in and says someone is on the phone for you.
You know what? I remember that name, and I was even going to write that name down because I was like, this would be interesting.
It's a name that I feel like you would hear on Curb. Not that.
I wanted to say it was
obvious.
like Art Lang something, L something, but no, you got me.
It's a Stu Zimmer.
Way off.
Yeah, way off. Yeah, that's a hard one. That is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if we go that far. Safe to say, though, we wouldn't have a question that difficult on Seinfeld trivia either. But yeah, once again, the 23rd of November, watch all 180 episodes if you want. Definitely study up on the mom and pop store since we'll have 12 questions all about that episode. But yeah, let's get started. You can email us at seincast@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram. Check us out on iTunes if you haven't already. You can leave us a rating and review, which would be much appreciated. Also, thank you so much to all of the listeners who have been donating to the show. That means so much because, we face monthly hosting costs, and getting a new show out each week, it actually takes a lot more work than you'd think. So we really appreciate all the donations our listeners have made. You can head over to our Tumblr page and look for a tab that says Donate.
Our mothers are very proud of us, by the way.
Yes, very proud. What episode do we have this week, Vincenzo?
Episode 8 of Season 5, The Barber, written by Andy Robin, directed by Tom Sharonis, and it originally aired November 11th, 1993.
This is Andy Robin's second episode, right?
Yes, the first being The Junior Mint.
Yes, he was one of those writers, I might even say the writer, to really take Seinfeld in a new direction, or at least a wackier direction. Than what
a
you're used to.
wackier yet believable direction, or acceptable to the Seinfeld audience, I'll say.
Ultimately, he has more fun, I think, with the show than I think other writers like Larry Charles or Peter Melman, who I think like it's still grounded in reality.
Agreed.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the inspiration for this week's episode, The Barber. The George storyline was actually inspired by Andy's initial meeting with Larry David to write for Seinfeld. Apparently, the meeting went well. This is back during season 4. The meeting went well, but in the end, he still wasn't certain if he actually had been hired, very similar to George. Not sure how that resolved, though. Did he just show up, do you think?
I have a feeling he called.
Yes. Jerry's relationship with Enzo was based on Andy's actual barber, Victor, in Stamford, Connecticut. Apparently, this guy, Victor, was, really talented, good barber, but he was on the verge of retiring. Andy put it, he was getting a little shaky, just not as steady as he used to be. Andy, however, felt a real sense of loyalty to him, despite not getting good haircuts anymore. And he'd even try to pick a day when Victor wouldn't be there so he could just go to one of the other barbers. But apparently this guy was always there. He never took a day off. So there you go. Again,
another example of how more often than not, the real life anecdotes that you will tell Larry are the ones that make it in because they're interesting yet believable. So again.
And there's something about the Jerry storyline, the relationship with Enzo, that reminds me a lot of his relationship with Babu. At least early on, where it's like, here's a guy who's running a business and I walk by it all the time and I feel like I owe him something.
Yeah, it's part of the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. The Bachelor auction story was apparently not a part of the episode originally. It was a last-minute replacement for a completely different Elaine story.
I never knew that. I learned something this week.
Yeah, do you want to explain this original storyline?
Sure. As you're watching this episode, you'll see the awning shows Enzo's. But when we are inside the barbershop, you'll see that on the glass, it says Three Brothers Barbershop. And there's a reason for this. In the original episode, we had Gino, we had Enzo. They're both brothers. There was a third brother, Aldo, who had died a long time ago, but they still kept his barber chair. At the shop, Enzo tells Elaine that Aldo was a very skilled barber who got mixed up with the wrong crowd. And he ended up drinking the blue liquid used to clean the combs. Or as Jerry put it, he committed
barbicide.
We also learn in this original storyline, Elaine has always wanted a barber chair. And Enzo agrees to sell Elaine Aldo's barber chair.
Hang on real quick. Sorry, we're going to take forever here, but
okay.
Why would you ever want a barber chair? Is it something to actually use? Like, would you sit at your breakfast nook in a barber chair? Would you watch TV in a barber's chair?
You know how Elaine has that old style fridge and she has kind of like knick-knacky stuff in her apartment? I would think maybe she likes collecting vintage kind of stuff, even though she doesn't seem like a vintage type gal.
I think we talked about this way back in the busboy, how Elaine's bedroom was filled with a lot of knickknacks, a lot of antique-y kind of stuff. So maybe
she has her mom's old photos and old brooches she always wears. So I think she kind of clings to nostalgia.
That's a good point. All right. I'll allow it.
Thank you. So Gino protests Enzo selling the chair, but Enzo's going to sell Elaine the chair anyway. The problem starts when Aldo's son, Francisco, shows up to work at the barbershop. He's a ladies' man, and he decides he's going to win over Elaine's heart in order to take back the chair. But instead, he falls in love with Elaine's thick, luxurious hair.
This is something you could probably relate to, right? I mean,
thick, lustrous hair is very important to me.
Yes.
Is that what you said? Yeah. Just clarifying. Francisco decides he's going to forsake his barber birthright and become a beautician because he's so enamored with Elaine's beautiful hair.
So that was a sort of like the big betrayal, like no Manganero has ever like touched a woman's hair. It's only men's hair.
Enzo and Gino still have the fight over Jerry's haircut.
Right.
You know, going back to Andy Robbins' original storyline. But when the script seemed to lean too heavily on the guest stars, they made the revisions. So Aldo and Francisco, those characters were completely removed. Enzo became Gino's uncle, and they added this bachelor auction storyline for Elaine. I really like this whole elaborate story, and it does seem kind of like a soap opera, but you know, after it took us a while to get through it, it really does seem very guest star centric.
Yeah, you know, Peter Melman said something once how, you know, the show worked best when the focus was on the four characters. He brought up the caddy, for example. He didn't like that because it was the caddy that was funny, and Kramer was sort of working off of him. Kramer should have been the funny one, and the caddy gets to work off of him. Whereas in this premise, it does seem like it takes away a lot from the main four. I'd even argue that with just the two characters of Gino and Enzo, they really take away a lot.
Yeah, because Elaine hardly has anything in this episode. It's almost like the Briss. You got this very over-the-top character. As much as I love the Moyle, and I like Gino and Enzo, maybe I'm a little biased, but I like it. But I do agree this particular elaborate storyline with all these other characters would have probably detracted from the show. Having said that, I like hearing this background and what could have been or what they originally intended to write, you know?
It's weird. Enzo and Gino kind of fall for me somewhere between, and this might piss off a lot of people, but somewhere between the Moyle and the Old Man.
Oh, that's low for them.
Well, for you. Maybe closer to the Moyle, but...
So I said it before, I love the Moyle, and I like these guys a lot. Hate the Old Man. And I'm glad we get Gino and Enzo for 1 week. But that's all. Like these guys, I wouldn't want them to return for another episode.
You have guest star single shot characters that worked, and then you have those that didn't. And as much as we like the Moyle and, you know, even Enzo and Gino, and we don't like the Old Man, I feel like they all fall under the same category of characters that didn't work. Because I don't hear a lot of praise for the Moyle. I don't hear a lot of praise for these two guys. or the old man
sucks.
for that sake. But go to the other category. You've got Babu, you got Soup Nazi, you've got Bookman, these solid classic
Everybody loves
characters.
those guys, and they would want them more, and so much so you could tell they brought some of those guys back for the finale because they were so great, even in their single episodes.
Right. Well, let's move on real quick to just some production notes here. Last week, when we discussed the non-fat yogurt, I completely forgot to mention how Jerry's hair is really short in that episode, especially compared to a comment you made the week before that, where he had that nice, thick mullet going, the party in the back.
Oh, that 80s mullet is running wild in this episode.
Right. Well, his hair is shorter in the non-fat yogurt. Then we come to this week's episode, and it's long again. And sure enough, this episode, when Jerry has longer hair, was filmed on October 13th, 1993. And then 2 weeks later, they filmed the non-fat yogurt. Then the non-fat yogurt aired before this episode. So you have this weird continuity issue with Jerry's hair where it's, long, then it's short, then it's long again, and now it's short. So, we'll be right back on track next week with the short hair. At the end of this episode, which a lot of people might not know about, there's a little Easter egg after the credits involving Newman having a bald head.
That's right. Jerry exacts revenge on Newman, which is the grand finale of this episode. And we see one final shot. Kramer asks Newman, "So when can you go out?" And Newman responds, "Not for a while." And he's in a bald cap.
Now, that would have really been an issue if this episode aired before the non-fat yogurt, because Newman's bald in this, and then he has a full head of hair the following week. I think that's a more glaring issue than, Jerry's hair going from long to short.
Right. But the real reason these episodes were flopped is so that the non-fat yogurt could coincide with the mayoral elections of New York City. The other reason being Newman could not have been bald in the non-fat yogurt and then have a full head of hair in the Barber.
Yes.
Hence why these episodes were flopped.
Right, exactly.
That Newman shot, you never see in syndication. So only if you have the DVDs or now Hulu would you even see that shot. So I think this might be the first time that a lot of people are seeing it.
I think that shot shows up in clip shows a lot.
It does.
And I'm like, what episode is that in? It's such a weird shot because they only spend 1 to 2 seconds on Newman. Anyways, this week's episode also features some really cool music, we should point out. This is, I think, is this the first time that we got a different score? I think we had some Pagliacci, maybe?
Yes, correct. We've had different stingers to come in and out of commercial breaks, like in the Chinese restaurant and I think the parking space.
Yeah, we've never gotten a chance to listen to these stingers, but we've heard about them. But within the episode itself, I think we've pretty much always had the Seinfeld theme. This week, though, you get this really cool, I think at least, it heightens the episode. I think it really brings a lot of energy and momentum that I think, honestly, if it weren't there, this episode would fall really flat.
I agree. This does feel like an Italian soap opera when you're watching it. It really is.
Right. So Larry David, when they were filming the episode, he felt like since the characters are really broad, Enzo and Gino, and they're so over the top, it was like an opera. And he told Jonathan Wolfe, who's the music supervisor, that he wanted to kind of highlight that aspect of the music and heighten the on-screen drama. So Jonathan Wolfe and music editor Jack Diamond took music from The Barber of Seville and adapted it into the kind of like their own music for this episode. And it's, other than the over-the-top performances, I think it's one of the most memorable things about this episode.
I think that's I agree. That's what makes this episode so good is that quality and uniqueness about it.
And when you have that moment, for example, when Enzo is at the door, Jerry's door, and Gino's inside, just the panic that settles in thanks to that music. I don't know. It's really effective. Having said that, should we get started?
What the hell?
The old-fashioned barbershop is, unfortunately, becoming a thing of the past. Now, what went wrong? Well, first of all, it is a $20,000 chair to make a $3 tip. I say cut back on the chair, update the magazines. And why do barbers always display that license? There's no laws in hair cutting, except show every customer the back of their head. That's the one law. I don't want to see the back of my head. Why do I want to see something that I'm never going to see at any other time? When I buy pants, 2 salesmen don't lift me up by the legs and go, "How do you like the crotch?" If I wanted to see everything, I would have been a fly.
This stand-up feels a little hacky.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. It does feel like this was written, though, for this episode specifically. It's got that over-the-top Jerry quality to it, but it doesn't really do it for me.
Maybe they could change the magazines to, Penthouse.
Now we're on a topic.
Yeah, adults only.
Of course.
I'm sure a listener will let us know, but why do they display the license?
To be honest, I haven't been cutting my hair since college, so I didn't know that they had barber's licenses displayed. Thanks for bringing that up.
Hey, you choose to shave your head. You're not
that
part
is
of the bald
choice
community.
You have made, with all due respect.
But what do you think, though? I mean, knowing that the license is displayed, is that just is that a pride thing? Is it a legal
I
thing?
really am a barber, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure because you're interacting with the public and altering something about their body, maybe that's why you need that license.
Or just to reassure them, hey.
It's like a doctor or a pharmacist or, a dentist, barber.
It's funny enough. I was going to get a haircut yesterday, but I didn't get one.
It's running wild, I see.
That's my story. So first scene of the episode, we're at a job interview. What's the company called here?
Sanilac.
Sanilac. And what kind of company is this?
Rest stop supply.
Oh.
I don't get that. Why? We'll get there.
Well, let's talk about it right now. This is a rest stop supply company, and I think this is the first. Remember when he works for Play Now?
Yeah.
Playground equipment.
Oh, good for you.
It's this running joke of George always applying for jobs at just the most random companies.
I didn't even know it was a job.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that's the joke here? Rest stop supplies? Kind of depressing.
Or he could have just said anything and they would have been like, hey, because it's a job for George.
Good point. Is this George's first interview of the season? He was a hand model for a hot second.
Yep.
The guy across from him is a Mr. Tuttle. He's explaining, hey, this is a small but prestigious group of clients. And you know what? Even George, a lot of people consider him to be small and prestigious. That's
funny, Matt. You're very quick. I feel like Mr. Tuttle should date the girl that Jerry dated in The Switch that never laughs. That's funny.
That's funny. So Tuttle ultimately feels like he doesn't have to explain every little thing to George. Tuttle doesn't go out and say, you're amazing, you're beautiful, you're ravishing, but you get a positive vibe from him.
Yeah, he likes George.
Exactly. He wants George to have this job, of course. And before he can finish, the receptionist pops in to say Stu Zimmer is on the phone. And the interview basically ends with Tuttle having to take the call, shaking George's hand. Hey, really glad you came in. And that's it. What do you think he's about to say?
I would imagine he was going to say, I have to check with my, superiors or with the board to get this approved.
I agree 100%. I think George had this job. There was just one last thing that Tuttle needed to do.
Speaking of Mr. Tuttle, he's played by actor Jack Shearer. He was in The Usual Suspects. He was in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Voyager, First Contact. He was also in The Negotiator. And he's been on several TV shows. Murphy Brown, Mad About You, ER, The West Wing, Malcolm in the Middle, X-Files, Scrubs, How I Met Your Mother, and 24.
Oh, nice.
He'll always be Tuttle with us.
Yes. So we cut over to Monk's. And naturally, the next scene is George trying to figure out what Tuttle meant with Jerry and Elaine. What are the three ideas they come up with here?
Of course, I have to check with my associates.
Of course, the board of directors is under indictment and will be serving time.
Of course, sodomy is a prerequisite.
All right.
Hey, Elaine actually hits the nail on the head. She is foreshadowing the ultimate outcome of this episode.
Yes, for Penske.
That's correct.
We're on the same page here, though. George's idea, of course, I have to check with my associates. That seems to be the most likely,
logical.
Yeah, and logical thing that Tuttle was going to say.
So, hey, remember in an earlier episode, Jerry says, I think all these job interviews are making you nuts. I can see why, given what George has to go through, specifically in this job interview with Mr. Tuttle.
Don't you love this dilemma, though? George can't call the guy to ask because he was so impressed how he understands everything. So if he calls to ask, he might lose the job. If he doesn't call, he might have it, but he'll never know.
Yeah, it could drive you bonkers. And it's also with the revenge where he walks back into the office to try and maintain the job he had just quit from. A lot of drama and anxiety with George and jobs. I actually like, this arc of the season. George moved back in with his parents, and now he's going to be interviewing for different jobs.
with George, it's very 50-50. You know, it's a coin flip on what to do. And it seems like he always makes the wrong decision. You know what I mean? He always takes
every natural instinct he has is wrong. And he hasn't learned that yet.
I mean, what would you do in a situation like this? We are getting ahead of ourselves, but would you go in? Would you call? Would you not call? Like, what would be your...
I would call. Any sane person would call.
Absolutely. I know we're talking...
Hey, you could even, say like, hey, where should I park on Monday? If you wanted to call and not be so blatant about it.
Oh, dude, I would be even more honest than that. I would be like, I had this really great meeting with Tuttle, but he didn't finish what he was going to say. I don't think that would really get him in trouble the way he thinks it would.
I agree.
So we're going to cut to a clip here. There's going to be two, though. The rest of the scene in Monks, and then we're going to cut over to the barber shop. So there's going to be two scenes here.
Back to back, you're doing them?
Yeah, back to back. So the K-Man enters, and did you notice he doesn't even say, how you guys doing? He just goes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on?
I don't know. He's in a good way right now.
Yeah.
Hey. Shower?
Haircut. I'm very happy with this.
Who'd you use, Gino?
Of course. Wouldn't let that other butcher cut my hair.
What butcher?
The uncle, Enzo. That's the guy Jerry uses.
Well, I've been going on for 12 years. I can't switch. I'd hurt his feelings.
Yeah, you never get good haircuts.
You can get a good one today. It's Enzo's day off. Gino's there all by himself.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? You should go over there and get one to look good for my bachelor auction.
What bachelor auction?
Oh, it's this thing where they auction off dates with bachelors for charity.
And you didn't ask me to do it? I could raise enough money to cure polio.
I believe they've had a cure for polio for quite some time.
Polio?
Will you go ahead? You need a haircut.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you all dressed up for?
Had a job interview.
Yeah? How'd it go?
Good. Of course.
Jerry!
Oh, hi, Enzo.
Oh, you come for the haircut.
No, actually, I was just gonna...
It's my day off, but I take care of you anyway because you're my favorite customer. You've been with me for so long. You're so loyal.
Well, if it's your day off, I really don't
What's
want
the difference? It takes 10 minutes. Jerry, today I'm gonna do something special for you.
Well, I don't want to take too much off.
Hey, who's your Bob, huh? You tell the joke, I cut to the hair.
Gino, you've outdone yourself this time. This is the best haircut I've ever had.
I mean, how do you describe this thing? It's combed to the side. It's really flat.
I think George perfectly articulates it. You look like you're 5 years old. He massacred you. You know how Jerry's comedy is very reminiscent of a 5-year-old boy, his outlook of the world, like a little kid. Now we can see what that looks like. This is Jerry as a 5-year-old.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump back real quick to the scene when Kramer entered Monks. I love this formula. The four at a booth. You're getting into the episode's premise, immediately. George's interview dilemma. Enzo and Gino the Barbers, Elaine's bachelor auction. I don't know. It's almost spelled out a little too simply.
Hey, ride the wave, my friend.
Yeah, but there's something comforting about that. It's like, all right, I'm watching a Seinfeld episode. Here we go.
Yeah, Kramer's got his cigar. He walks in very confidently. And much like I think I tend to annoy people the way I've fallen over Elaine, another great blooper from this scene. When Kramer, Jerry asks, who'd you use, Gino? And Kramer says, of course. I wouldn't let that other butcher cut my hair. And he says, the uncle. And because he just took a hit off his cigar, and then he's swallowing, and he can't get the word Enzo out, and it ends up being this 2-syllable gasp for air, and it just sends Julia reeling. She loses it.
Yeah, I'll play a clip of that right here, actually.
Hey.
Shower?
Yeah. Haircut. I'm very happy with this.
Who'd you use, Gino?
Of course. Wouldn't let that other butcher cut my hair.
What butcher?
Ooh, the uncle, Enzo. Oh, boy.
Who'd you use, Gino?
Of course. Wouldn't let that other butcher cut my hair.
What butcher?
The uncle, Enzo. That's the guy Jerry uses.
Well, I've been going in for like 12 years. I can't switch. I'd hurt his feelings.
Yeah.
You never get good haircuts. You don't really.
All right.
I can do it again.
You know, I never get good line reading.
Yeah, you never get good haircuts. She's stumbling to try and keep it together.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really enjoy Kramer's how he's questioning polio.
Yes.
What? I believe they had that for quite some time. Polio.
Yeah, that's
so he's in rare form. As we said earlier, Jerry's 80s comedy mullet is in full swing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut over to the barbershop.
Real quick, though, before we move over there, there was a little... there was a moment here that made me think of another episode. When Kramer walks in, Jerry goes, shower, and he goes, haircut. Which reminds me of the ex-girlfriend. When Elaine gets in the car...
New haircut?
No, shower.
Hey, it's backwards.
Yeah, like the inverse. Anyways.
So we cut to the barbershop, and this will be the first of a couple appearances of various Seinfeld writers and staff sprinkled throughout the episode. If you look in the background, we see Peter Melman sitting. He's one of the guys waiting to get his haircut. And there's an interesting shot of Jerry when Enzo's saying, "So loyal, one of my favorite customers." It looks like Jerry's almost looking into the camera and he's smiling.
You're just nodding.
Did you notice
in
that?
agreement.
Yeah, it's a little odd, that shot. And then you notice how Enzo, he's like, "Come on, it's my day off, but I'll give you the haircut." He's pushing Jerry into the chair. Jerry is squirming yet again, like he did 2 weeks ago in the Briss.
Yes.
When they're trying to get him to hold the baby.
It's almost like a slapstick.
Yeah, the heels are dug into the ground, and you're seeing the outline of Jerry's feet as he's being pushed towards this chair. And this is a good time to bring up who Enzo is played by, actor Anthony Ponzini. He actually passed away in 2002, unfortunately. But he's been doing soap operas since the 1960s. He was in General Hospital, Another World, One Life to Live, All My Children. He was also in Friday the 13th, the final chapter, and he was in A Murphy Brown. So the other thing to take away from that clip was the other customer who Gino was cutting, who outdid himself.
Yeah.
Best haircut I've ever had. That's played by David Richardson. And do you remember where that name comes from?
Yeah, that name is popping up quite a bit. The name itself is the name of the guy who runs into Russell Dalrymple on the set of Jerry.
What's your name?
David Richardson.
All right, you're fired.
Yeah. So they use his name there, but he has shown up on Seinfeld, at least his body.
That's right. His body is all over his body. He played the body of John F. Kennedy Jr. in the pilot.
When they're flipping through, when they're cutting to all the different side characters watching the Jerry pilot.
Correct.
He's with Marla. And there's another time you see his body in a deleted scene. It was the glasses. There's a deleted scene of Amy making out with Cousin Jeffrey. And he plays Cousin Jeffrey in that scene. You just see the back of his head.
Man, this guy's got some racket.
Yeah, absolutely. He must have really gotten along with, just Jerry and Larry to be like, hey, you fill in. He was the key grip on the show, mind you.
Right, 70 episodes. He was the key grip. He also worked on Peter Melman's show, It's Like You Know, as the key grip. But he also appeared in other Seinfeld episodes. He's the customer in The Barber. He plays fan number 1 in The Face Painter. And then he's uncredited, but you can still see him in The Bottle Deposit, The Money, and The Apology.
Nice.
So he's sprinkled throughout Seinfeld. He also worked on King of Queens and Rules of Engagement, as well as the movies 500 Days of Summer and Up in the Air.
Very nice.
His voice reminds me of, remember Colby from Survivor?
I don't actually.
I always thought like maybe that was him and that was his first foray into acting.
Oh, it was Colby, the guy that was on Curb?
Yes, in The Survivor.
The Survivor, yeah.
That voice is very imprinted on my brain, and I thought that was him for some reason, but it wasn't. I was hoping it would be, but no, it is Dave Richardson, in fact.
You know, before we move on, there is one line in this that I love. I feel like I quote it to you sometimes. Just makes no sense, completely out of context, but I say, you tell the joke, I cut to the hair.
You do that a lot.
Which makes no sense, or I'll replace it with like, you drive the car, I cut to the hair. You
always come out of the kitchen after doing dishes and you'll say that.
Anyways, just wanted to throw that one out there. Again, the Enzo, Gino characters, regardless what you think about them, they are very quotable. That over the top, what have you. Next scene, we're in Jerry's apartment. And again, he does really look like a little kid here. I love how George sort of uses the phrase, you got to see someone else. Get out of this relationship. Mm-hmm. Like the barber is almost like a girlfriend of sorts.
It really is. And as we'll see, the drama on screen looks like a romantic relationship where one party is cheating on the other.
Yeah.
Jerry being the one cheating on Enzo with Gino. Don't you think Jason's reaction is very genuine when he sees Jerry for the first time?
Yeah, that's a tough... I don't know how much of that is genuine. But
I like to believe it was a genuine reaction.
Well, I'll tell you this. I buy his laughter in this scene way more than I buy it in the coffee shop later.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's something
really?
that always bugged me about Jason's laugh with Elaine or Julia later.
See, I think he was enjoying Julia's reaction so much, which is why he was laughing in that scene. But we'll get there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, Jerry can end this relationship, of course. He'd break Enzo's heart. Plus, once again, he passes by the barbershop all the time. And we get a really nice back and forth here when Kramer enters. He has that great, whoa, no way my Gino did that.
His Gino. Kramer's got invested in this relationship with Gino.
That's an Enzo. Kramer gives Jerry a hard time for not saying something and just going to see Gino already. Regardless, Jerry doesn't want Kramer to say anything to Gino or Enzo, just let things be. And then we move over to, George's storyline again. He still hasn't heard about that job yet, but he's got a plan. He's going to show up. Tuttle is on vacation, so if George has the job, it's fine. If he doesn't, by the time Tuttle gets back, this is really arrogant. George is ensconced.
That's actually a really good plan, though, if you think about it.
You think so? Like, he has such confidence in his personality and his relationship with other people that he's going to be so established there, no one wants to let him go.
Yeah, hubris, baby.
Oh, man. But what's the worst that could happen?
Well, you'd be embarrassed and humiliated in front of a large group of people and have to walk out in shame with your tail between your legs.
Yeah, so?
Yeah, I see what you mean. I forgot who I was dealing with.
Next scene, we're back at, how do you pronounce it again? Sanilac. George showing up to work on his first day.
Good morning. Morning. Good morning. Morning. Hi. Nice to see you. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
How can I help you?
The name's George Costanza. I'm starting work here today. I was wondering if you could tell me where my office is.
I wasn't aware that... Mike, this is George Costanza. He's starting here today.
Welcome aboard.
Thanks, Mike. Nice to be aboard.
I didn't even know Mr. Tuttle was finished interviewing.
Oh, well, he was probably just getting anxious to start his vacation.
He wants to know where his office is.
Oh, well, all right, let's see. We've got two. There's the big one down the hall there and the small one over here. I should ask Jack.
Oh, leave Jack alone. Jack's got enough problems. I'll just take the small office.
Really?
Yes, I like to feel cozy. I have a very small apartment. I like to feel tucked in, nestled in. Love to be nestled.
All right. It's 808 right down there. Meanwhile, I'll get you the Penske file. You can start working on that.
Yes, of course. The Penske file. Oh, can't wait to sink my teeth into that. Wow, that Penske. Well, we'll straighten him out.
So how many times did George say good morning? 12? 13?
That's a good question.
Morning. Morning. Good morning.
And no one's saying it back to him?
No. That's how he's going to ensconce himself, is by saying good morning.
And he should do a leave behind, too,
Now you're talking. The secretary who aided him, she was Peggy Etra, or Maltby, I think. She went on to get married. But she plays the secretary, is it Clarice?
Oh, yeah, I didn't know she had a name.
Because George later on says, not now, Clarice.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but she was in the movie. This was actually her first acting gig, Seinfeld.
Nailed it.
She was in Chump Change, The Family Tree, Favorite Deadly Sins, Hard Sun. And she was in an animated show called No, You Shut Up, which I think is a great title for a show. Then we move on to Mike.
Go ahead.
Mike is played by Kenny Miles. He only has 3 acting credits. Seinfeld, The Great Space Coaster, and The Great Space Coaster Super Show. That's it. And those 2 shows are from the 80s. So so I don't know how he got Seinfeld.
Once again, man, it's just, you must have been living in LA, you knew certain people, and it's like, hey, do you want this role on this show? I can get one for you. Get you a little spot. There's something about the Mike character. Does he remind you of Javier Bardem, especially in Skyfall.
Well, I guess as long as we're talking about Bond, yeah, I guess.
Do you see that at all?
Yeah, I can see he's got the cheeks.
Yeah, there's just something about that
Tall.
face. Just reminds me of it. I'll try to find a screen grab. And
we should also preface, Matt is a huge James Bond fan, and he's recently kind of converted me, and now I'm watching all the Bonds, and I saw Spectre already, but now I'm hooked, and I'm going through watching. I just finished all the Sean Connery ones.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh,
Move on
nice.
to Roger Moore.
Oh, you did George Lazenby too?
Oh no, I didn't do that one. I'm sorry.
Okay.
See, I'm learning.
Yeah, actually, James Bond has interfered with our Seinfeld discussion.
It really has.
Every week, which
it's
is
creating a strain on this relationship.
Not good. Real quick too about George in this scene. You have two different types of George when he's lying. You have the full of shit George, and then you have bullshit George. And this is, I feel like, bullshit George, where he's trying to act his way or bullshit his way into a job or through a situation. And I love this because there's that cockiness to him, that arrogance.
Yeah, he's weaseling his way in, and he's like, Jack, leave Jack alone. He's almost wrestling the phone away from Mike because he just wants to get in that office so he can get ingrained in the routine there.
Oh, and then we should mention how he enters his office. He takes 808. It's nice because once again you have some action here, but it is about 30 seconds of silence, no dialogue.
Yeah.
Enters the office, shuts the door, sits down, leafs through the Penske file, pretty thick. 9 a.m. transitions to 5 p.m.
Big stretch. Lets out a big sigh. Time to go home.
Yeah, and he leaves, looking really pleased with himself.
I got a couple things though. First of all, that office is barren. It's like a cell almost.
Yeah.
There's nothing in there except a lucite table with 4 legs. What was the other thing I had to talk about? Oh, and he does nothing for 8 hours.
I can think of one thing.
He sat and stared.
Also, he might have taken a nap under his desk.
Yes. Hey, we're gonna see that in a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. He hasn't learned you got to hide under your desk.
That's right.
To pull off the nap.
He hasn't met Connie, or Conrad yet.
Yes.
And somehow I can relate to that feeling of you sit there at work, the time just flies by, and you have nothing to show for it. And it did cause me to crack up as he glides out, and he does his little, peek back as he shuts the door, kind of pleased with his first day of work.
Mm-hmm. And he's taking the Penske file home, I assume, just to have it with him at all times.
Well, he's got to transfer it to that accordion-style binder somehow.
That's true. So next scene, we're at Monk's. I guess a few days have gone by. Jerry and George are out to eat. Jerry's wearing that, like a Queens College hat instead of the shirt. He's got the hat this time.
Very high on his head, yes.
Mm-hmm. And George is telling him about the job. They gave him the Penske file. And he and his coworkers are like family. There was even like an event yesterday, right? What was it?
Well, they had a little party for Grace. She's such a sweet lady. And George made the toast.
Really?
His first day.
Yeah. Cool technique. I like this. This is something they haven't done before. A flashback while someone is narrating it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've gotten this yet. Well, no, that's not true. We had the boyfriend with the second spitter. That was narrated. Yeah. And for some reason, later on in the show when Elaine is talking about, was it Tom Bosley? Tom Bosley?
Tom Bosley, yeah.
Yeah, her old high school crush that Sue Ellen Mischke stole. Like that comes to mind. But
yeah,
this is something that I really like. I wish Seinfeld did a lot.
We do see some familiar faces in that flashback. The 2 guys who are mouthing to each other. Who the hell is this guy? That is Tom Gamble and Max Pross, who are other writers on Seinfeld.
So Tuttle's going to be back on Monday. I guess George pretty much has like a week on his own. So we'll see what happens. Elaine arrives, and she hears that Jerry got a haircut. There's some back and forth, and he eventually takes his hat off. Maybe 2 seconds go by before she and George just start cracking up and just, laughing at Jerry to his face. That's hard to fake laugh. You know what I mean?
And that's why I don't think it is a fake laugh. And I think this, you could argue, they kept Jerry's hat on until they had to shoot this. And then Julia got to see that haircut for the first time. Because that seems like such a genuine laugh to me.
I don't know. There's something about it, man. I just don't
buy
it. It's not that I don't like it. I just don't buy it the way you do.
Oh, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
I think that makes a lot of sense, though, that maybe they filmed this scene before the apartment scene so they could get both of their reactions. And you are keeping it hidden under that hat.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good theory. After all that, though, Jerry says, hey, I'm not going to the bachelor auction. And is he doing that out of spite or self-preservation? Do you think? Is he telling you don't think he's telling Elaine, screw you, I'm not going?
No. He seems on the up and up about it.
Right. He just doesn't want to embarrass himself.
Well, George would do it, but he's working that day.
Yeah, too bad. She's almost channeling her inner Jerry with the eye roll. We cut over to the barbershop, and hey, Kramer's getting a shave from Gino.
This is the worst haircut Jerry's ever had. You gotta fix it.
Sure. I fix. But you gotta make sure you not tell anybody. He's a little crazy. I don't know what he do. He find out I told you the Jerry's hair.
Yeah.
So, I love that hair with scissor hand. That's the best movie I ever seen.
Again with the scissor hand. How can you have a handle like a scissor, huh? Show me one person who's got the handle like a scissor.
Hey, it's a beautiful dream. I love to be this man.
Did you ever think about what you're going to do on the toilet? What are you going to do on the toilet?
I'd like to have shoehorn hands.
Of course, that would be what Kramer would want to have, is of all types of hands to have, shoehorn hands.
That is kind of disturbing.
Yeah, hands like a duck bill. Oh, and I'm reminded, the old style barbershop, they visit this in Curb. Remember Jeff and Larry go visit, I forget the actor name, very famed character actor, but he is this barber in this old style barbershop where they do the hot towel shave.
Charles Napier.
That's it.
Yeah, he's great character actor. He died a few years ago. But yeah, he is just one of the best. It's a pretty rough scene in that Curb episode, if anyone knows the scene we're talking about. I like the setting. I really do, of a barbershop. I think that's, of all of the different businesses and venues you have in New York, I'm really glad they got to use this for an entire episode. It's a really nice setting.
Here's a good time to talk about the actor who played Gino. His name is David Ciminello. He was in Kojak, the made-for-TV movie. He was on Murder, She Wrote, Silk Stockings. His last acting credit was in 1995, so he hasn't been around much since then.
That really surprises me. There's something about him that looks like he's a real young actor just starting off, and he had a big
an up-and-coming
career.
talent that I thought we would have saw him in a lot of things since, but nope.
Does he kind of have a Ben Stiller thing going on?
He's got the hair, and I think like the sunken-in cheeks, much like Ben Stiller. So yes, I do see that. And I feel like Enzo tends to blow up at Gino in almost the same manner as Frank or Estelle would blow up at George.
Oh.
What are you going to do on the toilet, huh?
Why does he get so mad? Wait, hang on.
Well, he's a hot-headed Italian.
Yeah, there you go. It's the Italian thing.
I bet you he's related to Carlo Costanza.
Yes. Or Giuseppe.
Oh, damn it. That's what I meant.
Yeah, they're all from the same village in Italy.
In Toscana.
We cut over to Monks, and Kramer, having just gotten a shave, he joins the group, explains that, hey, Gino has agreed to fix Jerry's haircut. No buts. His apartment tonight, 8 o'clock.
Can he fix it?
I don't know. We cut over to Gino's apartment, and you're right. You mentioned this earlier. This definitely, I don't pick up on it immediately, but it turns into I'm cheating on someone else here.
Boy, you got a beautiful head of hair.
You got a beautiful head of hair.
Oh, thank you.
I bet Uncle Enzo, he tell you that all the time.
Well, actually, Enzo hasn't said that to me in a while.
I don't think Uncle Enzo realize what a lucky barber he is.
It's nice of you to say.
Oh, just a sec. Yes?
It's your Uncle Enzo.
He's Uncle Enzo. Quick, go in there. I'll clean up. Come on up. Uncle Enzo, what are you doing here?
I come to apologize.
Apologize?
Yeah, I rented the movie Edward the Scissorhands. And that the Johnny Depp, he making me cry.
He's making me cry too. You want something to drink?
Hey, what's all of this?
Nothing. It's just hair.
You do a haircut in the apartment?
No. Pizza man was here. Maybe some fall off. He's going bald.
It looks very familiar.
What a long strand of hair that he picks up there.
And what did Gino do exactly? Did he just, do one or two cuts and then he's like, oh, this hair.
I guess so.
Beautiful. Getting distracted.
And some unique camera shots in this scene. We see the view of Jerry, his eye poking through the slit in the door.
Yeah.
And then we also see a point of view shot, flipped around. Jerry's point of view from inside the closet, looking out at Enzo examining the hair.
Right. He's staring at the hair. He's looking at the hair. That shot, I mentioned this, I think, back in the Mango of Jerry looking through the closet crack. Very similar to Kramer looking through the window in Joe's fruit stand. It would be really nice, though, if we got a shot of Elaine and George like that, just looking through a crack. Because it would be nice to have all four of them in similar situations. The only episode that came to mind was when Elaine drops off the vodka, the cigarettes, the fireworks to Vincent.
Don't shut me out, Vincent.
Yeah, and the comeback. That's more Here's Johnny, but...
Well, how about when Elaine shuts the door on George in the stall? He's trying to weasel through the door.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Or even in the sponge, for that matter. He tries to get through the door.
Well, we get an act break, and then we're in Jerry's apartment. Jerry is kind of giddy, actually. He's telling Kramer all about the haircut.
Slow, gentle, attentive.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jerry's nervous, though. He thinks Enzo could tell it was Jerry's hair since he knows him so well, but Kramer, tries to blow him off. Elaine arrives and is upset to see that Jerry's hair is still the same. Auction is in a few hours. Does it seem kind of weird that Elaine is upset that Jerry can't make it?
Well, she's got this celebrity friend who she's going to auction off. I'm sure it would fetch a lot of money for charity. So why wouldn't she be upset?
It would create a minor buzz. You're right.
We had plans.
Mm-hmm. Jerry suggests, take the K-Man.
Well, she fixes his hair and puts it in Jerry's face and forehead. And then she says, you can still go, right?
But Kramer points out, he's grotesque. He's repugnant. Which kind of has echoes of, Kramer with the cigarette smoke or the cigar smoke turning into a goblin,
Look away, I'm hideous. What would Kramer wear?
Whatever it takes.
Going into this without seeing the next appearance of Kramer, I think Kramer would do well at a bachelor auction. He's got the Kavorka.
There's nothing wrong with him per se. I mean, once you get to know him. But
they could have almost taken this two different paths. They went the hipster doofus route of him, falling on stage, not fetching a great price, but he could have also wooed the crowd and exceeded expectations. Right.
It seems like Kramer's Kavorka really works with one-on-one relationships as opposed to a performance. Like when it's performance-based, he turns into the doofus, when it's physical.
Yeah. Calvin Klein being in front of an audience,
right?
He falls. You're right.
But if it's just that one-on-one, he can draw you in. He can lure you in.
Test tubes, cool.
Bunsen burner. And we're at the barbershop, and
okay, Harry and Lloyd.
Does that sound like Dumb and Dumber?
This helps.
We're at the barbershop, and of course, who is one of Enzo's most loyal customers?
Newman.
Yes. Interesting to hear. This should be on Newman Trivia that he almost went to barber school.
What an interesting profession that would have been.
Yeah. And do you think he's just blowing smoke? I mean, I would tend to believe him.
Totally buy it.
Yeah. So Gino's in the room too, but he's sweeping.
Sleeping or sweeping?
Let's sweep together. Okay. And Enzo is making sure that his nephew hears their conversation. I don't mind if somebody's funny, but I know like the funny business.
He's a little ball buster, isn't he? That Enzo.
He's a. Gino picks up on it and he just excuses himself. Take your time. And Enzo makes a deal with Newman. You happy with the haircut?
It's okay. A little crooked.
What a brat, man. We talk about the origins of Newman, way back in like season 3, was it? How he was going to be sort of the spoiled kid of the landlord.
Correct.
Those qualities stick with him.
Yeah.
He is a brat.
He very much is.
So Enzo offers Newman free haircuts for 6 months if he gets a sample of a Jerry's hair.
That job sounds like it might be worth a year's free haircuts and a comb.
And a cannoli.
Okay.
Similar to the negotiation with George, maybe?
That's true.
Yeah.
He's a great negotiator, that Newman.
Mm-hmm. So we cut over to Sanilac, and George is just sitting in his office, hasn't done any work, just drumming away with 2 pencils.
He is crushing that drum solo on the accordion-style folder.
He really is. You are a drummer, Vinny. Is this...
Sometimes.
Do you see Jason? Does he have some skill here? Can you pick up on it?
No.
No?
No. Horrible time.
Terrible. George's secretary buzzes in.
Mr. Costanza, Mr. Penske's here to see you.
Mr. Penske? Of the Penske file?
Costanza? Arthur Penske.
Mr. Penske. I was just working on your file. I was transferring the contents of the file into this flexible accordion-style folder to...
Where's Tuttle?
He's on vacation.
He was on vacation the last time I dropped by. Give me my file. Looks like you put a lot of work into this.
Well, you know, in college, they used to call me the little bulldog.
Hey, you are Penske material. Would you ever consider coming to work directly for me?
Really?
You are aware...
Mr. Costanza?
Not now, Clarice.
I thought Mr. Penske should know they're towing his car.
Damn this city!
I am aware! I am aware!
Did you hear at the top of that clip when the secretary said, Mr. Penske's here to see you? Someone in the audience goes, oh no!
Yeah.
To me, it reminds me of the puffy shirt, the, oh my God! But it kind of takes you out of the... Like, I'm reminded that there is a studio audience there.
Yes.
When I hear that. I'm like, who is this voice?
I like that moment, though, because it is sort of a little gut-wrenching moment.
It's a drama-filled episode, so it makes sense that it would be there.
What do you say, though, about Arthur Penske here?
Is that my file? Give me my file. I like this guy.
I don't know how memorable he is with Seinfeld fans. You know, there's no real quirk about him.
Yeah.
Other than that line, I don't know why it stuck with us. Penske material.
Also, you are aware
that too.
I think he sticks with Seinfeld fans, not as much as the other ones we referred to earlier, the Newmans or the Soup Nazis and Baboos.
Oh, you've got to be pretty hardcore, I think, to quote this guy. That line in particular. Damn this city.
That was actually wanted that to be our opening. I wanted Matt to say, Vinny, they're towing your car. And I was going to say, damn this city. Welcome to Seincast. But we got this intro instead. Michael Fairman plays Arthur Penske. He was in the TV show Ryan's Hope, Cagney and Lacey, an episode of Cheers, 14 episodes of LA Law, Murphy Brown. He was in the movie Mulholland Drive. He was in Firefly for a couple episodes. He played that Russian gangster. Sons of Anarchy, The Young and the Restless, and recently he was in a Workaholics episode.
There's something about him that reminds me of the actor James Rebhorn. The name might not sound familiar, but everyone knows his face. He played the prosecutor in the finale episode.
Oh, yes. And he was in
everything. I mean, this guy, he played Claire Danes' father on Homeland most recently. I know him best as the dad in Blank Check, the Disney movie.
Meet the Parents, Independence Day, The Game, Scent of a Woman.
Always played sort of like a rat or some kind of an unlikable character in most of his roles. But he was such a great character actor. He passed away actually a couple of years ago. Really sad. Yeah. And I was blown away. He just lived a town over from me.
Oh,
in New Jersey, which was shocking because he is one of those people. You know, he is Seinfeld alum. We're talking about a guy who's not even in this episode. I'm sorry.
Right.
But he's someone you would love to talk to. He just seemed to have like such a legacy of work.
Yeah.
Prior to his death. But this actor, Michael Fairman, reminds me of that actor.
Okay, there we go.
Sorry. Anything else from the clip before we move on?
Dynamite drop in, Matt. The line that always sticks out to me is, Penske's Penske saying to George, looks like you put a lot of work in this. And George says, well, in college they used to call me the little bulldog.
That's a good trivia question.
But yeah, Penske is going to, or George is going to go work directly for Penske. He seems really excited when Penske offers him this job, and he's like, really?
You kind of opened up a whole can of worms that I was just totally going to gloss over. This business, this company, Sanilac, they specialize in rest stop supplies. What is the issue with Penske? And why is Penske such a...
like hot shot?
Yeah, or no, but why does the relationship between Sanilac and Penske seem to be a little tense?
Penske makes the urinal cakes that Sanilac uses for their rest stop supply.
Well, I think of Penske as the moving company, right?
Of always, although it's spelled differently.
It is. Well, in fact, we don't really have do we have a proper spelling on Penske? Is it
No.
with a Y maybe in this episode? But if he doesn't work for the Penske moving company, there must have been something, whether it's urinal cakes or he owns some rest stops that didn't get their supplies. Regardless, there's a file that Sanilac has to work on. I'm just so intrigued by these little tiny...
Andy, Robin, what did you mean when you're talking about this file?
Well, also the fact that Penske looks at it, a lot of good work has been put into this. Yet Tuttle realizes later he hasn't done anything. So Penske doesn't check in on the work, I guess.
He's like Kruger. George could go hog wild working for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel for George, though. Second time he's potentially gotten a job offer, and he's gotten an I am aware.
Yes, I'm aware. So we cut over to Jerry's apartment. Gino is in a panic, telling Jerry Enzo must know about them. All morning, he's looking at the hair, he's staring at the hair, and there's a knock at the door. It's Newman. And since he was in the store, Gino's like, oh no, I can't be seen. So Jerry pushes him into the bedroom to let him go out the fire escape.
What do you want?
Could I use your bathroom?
What's wrong with yours?
My toilet's clogged.
You can't unclog it?
No.
Did you ask Kramer?
He's out.
Number one?
Yes. May I go?
Go ahead.
Because I gotta go very badly.
Flush twice.
Thank you. Oh, jackpot. I don't believe this. There's no hair in this thing. Never seen a person that didn't have at least one hair in a brush. Unbelievable. Nothing.
I love that gag of looking at the brush in the sink and there not being any hair in it. My sister's had that exact brush growing up.
Oh, really?
And that thing was always, there was no way you could get all the hairs out of that thing. So it really is a great little jab at Jerry and how neat he is in the fact that he has this brush that is impossible to get hairs out of. His is bone dry.
Yes. Interesting to note, this is our first time in Jerry's bathroom too, I think, right?
Really?
Like we've seen it through the doorway, but I don't think we've ever been in the bathroom proper like this.
Oh. I guess you're right.
And I don't even know how many times we go in there anyways. There's the shaving scene, of course, his chest. Interesting to note, too, when Jerry answers the door, Newman's sort of dancing there, having to go to the bathroom. There's no hello, Newman.
Hey, you're right.
And it kind of looks like, when you're anticipating that, it looks like there's a hard cut, almost like Jerry did say hello, Newman, and they cut it for whatever reason. I don't think we've had a Jerry Newman scene yet in this show where he doesn't say hello, Newman.
Right, because he said it at the yogurt shop last week.
And there are a lot of appearances throughout season 4 where he might not have said it, but I think he said it every scene so far. However, I think there's a nice replacement for the hello, Newman later in the episode. We'll get to that. So Newman finds those scissors, right? And he hides them, and he finds a way to stick around. Jerry's watching Edward Scissorhands, and how bizarre it must be for Newman to be hanging out in his apartment. I mean, this is unprecedented.
To want to hang out. Well, they did have the alliance a couple episodes back in the sniffing accountant, so maybe the relationship has kind of warmed a little.
That's true. They did share a car together, and they flossed.
And
together.
Newman got Jerry a soda.
Mm-hmm.
But you could tell there's still the animosity there. He told Newman to flush twice, which is a good little joke.
That is a toilet joke, too, the number one.
Yeah.
Newman
has a great little ploy because he says, Edward Scissorhands is his favorite movie, so can he stick around and watch? He's like, yeah, all right.
Which is so interesting because this is, I think, 3 years after Edward Scissorhands came out. Mm-hmm. Yet it's mentioned throughout the episode.
It does relate to a Barber.
Mm-hmm.
So Jerry's walking to the fridge to get this drink. Newman is tracking him, and he's about to cut the hair. Jerry turns to him and says, hey, you want something? Newman does this move where he shoves the scissors into his armpit. And every time I see that scene, it makes me cringe because I feel like Wayne Knight is about to stab himself in his artery. And I'm like, ah! But thank goodness he doesn't. I don't know I hope they use like a fake scissor or something. But I cannot stop looking at that in the scene.
If you found out that Wayne Knight just like bled out on the Seinfeld set.
I'd feel awful, yeah. It's like Sweeney Todd.
Yeah. Great performance on Wayne Knight's part, the scene.
Oh, yeah.
He always nails it. We're so repetitive with our praise of Wayne Knight, but it's true. Anytime he's on screen, he just hits that home run. Isn't that how he put it?
Yep. He's batting cleanup. I defy you to find a bad Newman appearance. Can't do it. Can't do it.
So they sit down on the couch watching Edward Scissorhands, and Newman kind of stretches out over, like you're doing the stretch to put your arm around a
hot date with a smooth sheet.
And he cuts Jerry's hair.
Well, gotta go.
But he does say that he dropped a nickel.
Oh, okay.
to pick up the hair, and that made me think of George with the dime.
Mercury head.
I'm sorry, we're really reaching.
Diabolical.
Yeah, and as Newman leaves, Enzo comes out of the bedroom. I guess he didn't make it down the fire escape. That's kind of seems like a goof, Why would Jerry say that if he didn't?
There was additional footage to this scene, but they cut it. Gino was going to say that the fire escape was too high, and that's why he came back in. And then Jerry noticed scissors on the table. He picks them up, and he notices a suspicious hair on the end of the scissors.
Okay, I guess
more drama.
Yeah, more drama, a little more, a tad bit unnecessary, I guess. But
yeah, I could see why it was cut.
Mm-hmm. But we cut over to the barber shop, and Gino is studying the hair he found in Enzo's apartment when Newman arrives with Jerry's sample. And after comparing the two, you done a good, Newman. Gino storms out with only one thing on his mind.
Io voglio vendetta.
Yeah. And Newman's left all alone in the barbershop. So what does he do? Picks up a pair of scissors and pretends to cut someone's hair. He almost like dances. He's very jolly. Very.
So they pointed out in interviews, but Wayne Knight is so agile and quick on his feet for being a bigger guy. He really is nimble.
Next scene, we're at the auction. Elaine is hosting the bachelor auction, lands $1,000 for this handsome Harvard grad. Not too bad, but...
Oh, we should point out, though, that Andy Robin is a Harvard graduate, along with Tom Gamble, Max Pross, who appeared in the flashback of the episode, as well as writers Alec Berg and Jeff Schaefer.
Right. We, I don't know if we talked about this on the show, but someone was on Fred Stoller's podcast. Seincast, was that his name? He was really annoyed by how many Harvard grads there were on the show. Mm-hmm. He's like, they were all Harvard grads. They're all cliquey. It's like this group of writers that all hung out together.
Think you're better than me? Well, and we even, I keep bringing this up just because I found it was the most fascinating part of our interview with Peter Melman. But there was one episode that was pitched that didn't get, done for whatever reason, or an idea. But it was the Harvard guy, about a guy who kept bragging that he had graduated from Harvard.
Yeah,
so
sounds
I'm sure
like
they had to have. I doubt any of these guys broached that particular idea.
Yeah, and I'm sure Peter Melman was inspired by his fellow writers with that one for sure.
Interesting.
But you can see Elaine is getting a little nervous. She swallows, before she says the next sentence. Next Bachelor, number 124. And so cheesy. I wish I had a sample of the music that's playing.
Oh, yeah. It complements the situation perfectly.
It's so cheesy, though. Kramer can't get through the curtain. And when he finally does, it's awkward because I feel like the audience, not the Bachelor auction audience, but like the Seinfeld audience, isn't going crazy for this scene. People aren't laughing hysterically. So it has this weird vibe to it because it's just Michael on stage looking like an idiot.
Yeah, but you're right. It doesn't go over the same, much like any some other typical Kramer physical gag.
Let's go over some Kramer facts here, thanks to Elaine. He's a high school graduate.
Equivalency.
High school equivalency program graduate.
He's self-employed.
He's, I don't know, 6'3", 190 pounds.
He likes fruit.
And he just got a haircut.
What do you say? Should we start the bidding at $5?
That's a big bill, right? According to Kramer.
Keep those on the outside.
Yeah. I love Kramer's confidence in this scene, too. Just no one's reacting. The Bachelor audience isn't reacting. I feel like even the Seinfeld audience isn't reacting that much either.
Yeah. He's shaking that little boom boom of his, but nobody's going for it.
Not at all.
So much so to that he moonwalks and falls onto this table. And again, Michael Richards' brilliant physical acting. Doesn't he seem to kind of balance on that table for longer than you would expect before going down?
Definitely wobbles a little bit.
It's very graceful the way he's able to teeter-totter on that table. Mm-hmm. But I didn't realize this. The woman at that table is a stunt woman, and they had her there for safety. They didn't want just any, stand-in or extra sitting there. They had a stunt woman there to prepare for this, and it was a rehearsed fall. So Michael practiced it, and then they shot it.
I wonder if that's the same stunt woman he ran into in the lip reader.
Perhaps.
Who played, what's the tennis player's name?
Monica Seles?
Yes. Yeah, I wonder if that was the same one.
The same.
We cut over to Jerry's apartment. Jerry and Gino are watching Edward Scissorhands, and Jerry, tries out some material here.
He's doing shtick from the couch.
Yeah.
I don't get this Edward Scissorhands. What are you supposed to be, like some sort of superhero? Like Green Lantern or somebody? What's with this guy?
And Gino, almost is offended. He's like, don't insult my...
They're fighting now. They're a couple who's fighting.
Right.
We're broken up for the rest of the day.
Then there's a knock at the door.
Who is it?
Enzo Manganiello!
Oh, my God! 1 second!
It was you that was at Gino's apartment the other night.
No, I wasn't there.
Don't lie! I know it was you! I get the sample of your hair, I match them up!
Sample? I was there, but I was just dropping off a book.
Don, Jerry.
So, it's true!
Yes, it's true.
I'm gonna kill the both of yours!
Enzo and Gino are hypnotized by the beauty that is Edward Scissorhands.
He maketh them cry.
Yeah. You know what's weird about the Edward Scissorhands, since they didn't have the rights to play the music or the dialogue from the movie, all you hear is just scissors. It's sort of similar to when George watches Home Alone.
Yes. I love the manufactured movie sounds that we're supposed to hear, because they don't want to pay for the rights to use Home Alone or Edward Scissorhands, so they make things that are comparable to it. Mm-hmm. But man, when you hear the Home Alone, the boing, dun, dun, it's so cheesy, but it's good.
So there was one moment in here that I wanted to bring up, because we didn't get that hello Newman before. We do get at least Jerry going, Newman, which I'm asking you, Vincent, is this the first time Jerry goes, Newman, in frustration?
My memory's not good with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
With at least chronology. So I'm not sure.
Because we're not just dealing with the 71 episodes before this, we're dealing with 180 episodes. Right. Is this the first time? I think it is.
Okay.
I can't think of another moment.
Because we heard in the Suicide, Big Mouth Newman, And
that's the origin, really, of the Newman Jerry sort of rivalry or animosity.
I assume if we're wrong, then one of our listeners will gladly point it out to us.
Yes, if Jerry ever does the Newman prior to this episode. So next scene, we're at Sanilac, and such a great shot here. What is it, George asleep at his desk?
Feet are on top of the desk. He's using the newspaper as a blanket, and he is just zonked out.
And you only get this shot for a fraction of a second, because Mr. Tuttle enters, and such a brilliant bit on Jason's part. Tuttle closes the door, and slowly one leg falls, hits the desk, and
he's just jarred awake.
Yeah.
But that little noise that Tuttle makes by closing the door causes George to move, and it startles him.
It's so natural how he wakes up.
It is, but can you imagine a boss walking in on you while you're taking a nap? And Tuttle doesn't even seem to mind.
Well,
he's more perplexed that George didn't take the big office.
See, I get the vibe that Tuttle is just really reserved. Why do I need to get upset with this guy?
Oh, because he's going to fire him?
He's like, this is ridiculous. Like, what you're doing here, there's no way I'm going to hire you now. Maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. The question is this, based off of this scene, was George hired or not?
Yeah, he was, because he said that, I'm surprised you didn't take the bigger office. So he was hired. Tuttle expected him to be there.
You think so?
Why else would he say that?
Oh, wow. I always assumed that Tuttle was like, George, I never hired you for this job. Why are you here? That's why he's testing him. He's like, well, let me see that.
He says, I thought you would have taken the large office.
Because he's like, if you're going to fake your way into a job, I assumed you would have at least taken the bigger office.
No, I think you're reaching here.
Wow, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, so I guess we're coming at this scene from two completely different directions. You think that Tuttle actually did hire George. So what was the whole, but of course...
Well, we talked about it earlier. I got to check with my subordinate, or with my board, you know?
But Tuttle hasn't done that yet.
But of course, we're going to have to talk about which office you want to take. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that.
But given the dialogue,
I think
he has the job.
I think you landed on it. If you want to believe that Tuttle is not surprised that George is, you know, at the job, it's mainly because he was going to say it. But of course, you have to decide which office you want. Interesting. Well, either way, Tuttle is sort of giving him a hard time, looks through the Penske file, realizes George has not done anything with it.
Well, bear in mind, I am in the smaller office.
Yeah, and I think the two kind of go at it here. George realizes the jig is up.
But he's already got a job with Penske, which is why he's burning this bridge with Tuttle, which is such a schmucky thing to do.
Well, then why do you think George quits so quickly here?
Because he's got the job with Penske. He's so excited about it. I'm sure it's more pay. That's why he's gonna quit, go out in a fiery blaze of glory here.
I'm gonna let this go. I promise.
Am I taking crazy pills here? I'm talking to my Aunt Sylvia.
Yeah, no, I think, and I can tell you're frustrated with me.
I am.
I totally think
I'm flummoxed.
You're flummoxed. Okay, well,
I see it one way. I don't know.
I don't think that Tuttle is happy that George is at this job when he didn't hire him for the job. I don't think Tuttle ever said, I want you to start Monday. Here you go. I'll see you there. I think George made the assumption, or George made a huge leap and just decided to show up to work when he was never given the job to begin with. Tuttle is there like, this guy is a complete jackass. He gets back from his vacation. He's like, George Costanza is here? I didn't hire that guy. I didn't give him the job yet, but he's here? He's been here for a week? Oh, well, let me see what this jackass has done with the Penske file then. He goes in there, already upset with the guy for showing up, sees him asleep, then, you know, calls him out. Oh, let's see this Penske file. You know, you've already pissed me off twice already by showing up and napping on the job. You haven't done anything with the Penske file. I'm wondering, are you capable of doing anything? Did I make a huge mistake in what I said during the interview? And that's when George realizes, all right, the jig is up. I obviously didn't have this job. This guy's pissed at me. That's why I'm going to go work for Penske.
My thinking is, we're getting way too into this, and hopefully people will pick a side here. Tuttle says, I'm surprised to see you here. I thought you would have taken the large office.
I think that's sarcasm.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because then he says, I guess I didn't make that clear when I hired you. So
again, sarcasm, meaning like I didn't hire you. That's so funny.
I disagree. But I think once Penske offered George the job for working directly to him, George, as he has been known to do, was going to burn this bridge with Senilac so that he could go work for Penske directly. Hence why he could care less about this job, why he didn't do anything with the Penske file, and why he fell asleep at his desk. And why he starts mouthing off to Tuttle, as you said, because you are aware Penske is interested in me, and then they butt heads. Ta-ta-ta-tell. That's my thinking of it.
just to go off of that, I think the joke is George is making the same mistake twice, where someone didn't hire him for a job, but he's just going to, different motivations here to work for Penske than working for Tuttle, but he's still making the same mistake of not getting a job and assuming he did, or it's going to work out for him.
See, I would buy, because that's kind of the Seinfeld way, is to have all these repetitive patterns. So maybe that's why, but I see it my way.
Interesting. So after that ridiculous conversation, our question for our listeners, I guess, ultimately is, when Tuttle enters that room, is he upset that George is there to begin with because he didn't hire him? Or is he upset because George is asleep and then he didn't get any work done with the Penske file? I'm arguing that Tuttle's upset with George being there to begin with, and you're arguing it has more to do with his incompetence.
Correct. He didn't do any work the whole week he was there.
Got it. Okay. It's funny because we're sort of like overlapping a little bit. It's just, where does that Tuttle frustration start?
It's Tuttle tone, because my tone is him being serious. You're seeing him as sarcastic.
Yeah, because he's already pissed off.
That's what you think.
That's what I know. Next scene, though, we jump over to Jerry's apartment briefly, and you got Gino and Enzo crying while watching Edward Scissorhands. Then we cut over to the barber shop, and Newman has that white coat on. He's just taken over, basically.
And again, he's like fluttering like a butterfly around this guy in a chair. Snip, 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 cutting hair. Because he has a knack.
And he sees Jerry staring at him through the window. He got that grin on his face, and he panics as Jerry enters, turns on that hair clipper, and then just approaches him slowly. The music does so much for this scene in particular.
Yes,
just ratcheting it up.
And that's what makes, I wouldn't gonna argue, this is what makes the episode so memorable, is the music.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And we'll, let's move on to our final bit of stand-up here. Oh, wait, what? Not stand-up.
Penske's office.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is this the first time we're getting a credit that isn't stand-up, or at least still images? Was there another, credit sequence that's, like an epilogue of sorts?
Yeah. Remember in the Red Dot, we had like a live stand-up that ended with, right?
I think those were stills, like during the credits, proper. I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, I just can't think of any. But I feel like they've done it once or twice, maybe. This one stands out, though, since there's a conclusion to the George arc here, which is basically him sitting with Arthur Penske. And do you notice Penske has like a little noose?
That's what makes this scene for me, is him tying this noose and then he puts it around his wrist. But
it's very casual, like you would with, I don't know, like a bouncy ball or a pen or something. He's just tightening it around his hand as he tells George, when I said, "You are aware," I was going to say, "You are aware that our board of directors has been indicted, himself included, and they can't do business until the investigation is completed."
That would have been funny if, like in Clue, they shot 3 alternate endings to this scene, where one was, I got to check with my board of directors. Yeah. This one was, we've been indicted, and then the third one would have been sodomy's a prerequisite. and then they played it in different regions and been like, wow, Seinfeld really took an odd turn this week.
That would have been nice. A little alternate. Here's what really happened. What really happened? Probably the sodomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So Elaine was right, ultimately, right? At least with Penske.
She called it.
Mm-hmm. And just a great moment to accent the scene. The secretary interrupts to let them know George's car is being towed. And that final note as George, he's like a conductor.
It's a great hand gesture as the back of his hand sweeps across the frame saying, yes.
This is my life. Mm-hmm. I have laid this shit out for you.
And the voice of Arthur Penske's secretary is none other than script supervisor Kobe Turner.
That name doesn't ring a bell. I don't think she's really been a part of like a cameo or anything like that before.
I can't think of one either. I'm just thinking of all the staff members we've seen in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
We had Peter Melman, Tom Gamble, Max Pross, Kobe Turner, and David Richardson.
Mm-hmm. 5 of them. That's insane. Yeah. Would you prefer having a voice cameo, or would you want to be someone like Peter Melman sitting in a chair?
Well, Peter's is really kind of in the background. You got to pay attention to notice him. Hearing the voice is nice. I'd want both. I'd want a little speaking role.
Talk about, this is the best haircut I ever got.
That's what I want.
And for the first time ever, at least, we got a little post-credit sequence here, which we talked about at the top of the show. It's cut from a lot of syndicated versions, you mentioned, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. So to set the scene, you got Kramer basically on the phone at Jerry's.
So when are you going to be able to go out?
Not for a while.
I wonder if there was more to this scene.
Doesn't seem like it, does it?
Well,
or where could they go?
Maybe there's like more to the conversation. Like, was this going to play over the credits originally?
But the whole the reveal is the joke, so you couldn't have this back and forth cut, shots cutting back to Kramer and Newman. I wouldn't imagine. It would have been Kramer talking. So Jerry had the awful haircut, and I ended up doing the Bachelor auction, and I fell on this woman, and now we're going out. When are you going to go out next?
That kind of works though, like buying enough time until that final few seconds in the credits, and then you cut to Newman being, the bald head, basically. It just seems like a lot of work to get Wayne Knight in a believable bald cap just for 1 second to tack on after the credits that will be cut from syndication.
Although I got to say, do you remember growing up when there'd be credits to a show, it usually would just be stills or a black screen with credits. And then when they started throwing in extra, either deleted scenes or stuff that didn't make the cut, that would be, or even just the end of the episode to extend it, to pad it out. That was really interesting and exciting, I remember.
What show comes to mind?
Well, I was going to go even further. It was Home Improvement used to show bloopers in their credits. Yeah. And that always made, again, I'm obsessed with bloopers. I was always like, yes, I always looked forward to the credits for Home Improvement because you would always see the boop and it would be another scene. If they used all the unused footage and made shows out of that and put it on TV, I really think people would watch that because they love seeing, I think, actors be real and crack, and even though it's not professional.
Right.
Well, that's the old thinking, I would imagine, but it's exciting.
And maybe since we heard that Seinfeld was such a professional set, you can watch the bloopers and see how many times they crack up, and they're obviously enjoying it. I wonder if they really stayed focused, though, for the most part.
Probably.
Should we move on to ratings and reviews?
Sure.
So, what do you think?
I think we touched on most of the accolades and critiques of this episode during, but the big thing for me was I liked Gino and Enzo's character. I liked how over the top they were and stereotypically Italian they were. Right. It's very fun to say their lines with their sing-songy qualities. I'm actually recounting now. There's a lot of Italian references in Seinfeld when they go to the opera and Kramer's like, the language, it's got that sing-songy quality to it. And then there's Mr. DiCiccio, si, Toscana.
Right.
And they go to Tuscany. You got Carlo and
Poppy.
Giuseppe Costanza, Poppy. So it kind of makes me feel good that there's a lot of Italian references in Seinfeld. And then you got this episode as well.
You either love them or you don't. This episode, I hear, get brought up as a lot of people's least favorite episode. Wow. Especially from season 5. I hear this mentioned with the old man. I hear it mentioned with even the Briss. People don't like the Briss. I can see why people don't like this episode, and ultimately, I think it is. I don't want to say I don't like the episode, but it's in my least favorite category, or at least it's in the lower third, only because there's so many better episodes than it. If that makes sense, No,
I agree. I understand where you and everybody else is coming from. And again, there's not a strong Elaine storyline. Kramer has a weaker storyline, which is fine. And now after kind of discussing it and hearing about the alternate storyline for the Three Brothers, this episode really does focus on the guest stars or the guest characters for this week.
Absolutely.
Still a fun episode, but I love when Elaine has an issue or has to overcome something or gets in an awkward situation. I love when Kramer gets to work with, for whatever reason, Kramer has a meaty, chunky storyline. But having said that, this is a fun episode. Every time it comes on, I do enjoy it. And the whole use of the Barber of Seville type music is very fun, and it just is a nice little tweak on the Seinfeld formula.
it might seem kind of cheap, but ultimately that's what this episode is. It's fun. Whether you like it or not, it's a fun episode. And I think that, I mean, while the Junior Mint, I think that's a classic. Yeah, it's a classic. Way ahead of this episode. It still has that Andy Robbins sensibility, which is, let's have fun for a little bit.
Let's phone it in this week.
Doesn't feel like, despite my criticisms of some of like Andy Robbins' dialogue at times where I'm like, okay, this just sounds like, have you ever seen those people online who basically write a Seinfeld scene? Like they pick a topic.
Oh, really?
It's popular on Reddit. You'll see someone write out a page or two of a Seinfeld scene around whatever random issue. And it's like, oh my God, that's such a Seinfeld scene because you know these characters so well. You know how they would talk to each other. Yeah. So I'd fault the episode on that at moments, but ultimately, man, when you come to the goofier aspects, like the over-the-top Italian characters and the music, I think it works. I think every once in a while, you need a break from grounded reality kind of episodes. So what do you think? Ultimately, where does this episode fall for you? Is it in the top 20?
No, it doesn't make the top 20. It's still a fun one. When it comes on in rotation, gotta watch it. I would never skip this one. I don't skip any episode, really, but I'm excited when I see this one come on. This is a good one. That's kind of my feeling.
Yeah, I pretty much feel the exact same way. I look forward to it, but by no means is this going to crack my top 20. In fact, regards to the top 20, we were talking about this before we started recording. We kind of struggle with understanding our rating system and the numbers and the pretty goods to the golds and the top 20. What does it all mean? Originally, top 20 was going to be these are the 20 best episodes. But I don't think that's ultimately what they are. I think, how did you put it, Vinny? These are the 20 episodes you want to take with you to a desert island?
Either the 20 you would take with you, or you get 20 episodes you can show somebody. You can show them Seinfeld. They're Seinfeld naive. They've never seen an episode. You got to showcase Seinfeld. What are you going to show them?
Right.
So essentially, these are the episodes you want to show them because you think these are what makes Seinfeld Seinfeld and what makes you a fan.
/ take to a desert island.
Absolutely. Same. You're with that person on the desert island.
Right. So
who do you take with you?
Yeah, this is an episode that, maybe if they've burned through 100 episodes of Seinfeld, then I'd show them.
Okay.
It just wouldn't be in that top 20. But
so it cracks your top 120.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right.
What are you going to give it though, rating wise?
I think I'm going to give this, and I hate to solely because I don't want to inflict any cruelty to any animals. I'm going to give this 8 little bulldogs out of 10.
Nice. I'm going to pick an 8 as well. 8 toasts to Grace on her birthday out of 10. Despite though giving it a lower rating than we normally give out, like our 9s or 9.5s, even our 10s, I'm going to put this between pretty good and gold. Just because I have so much fun with this episode, with the over the top characters and the quotability factor.
It is fun to quote, isn't it? I'll agree. Pretty good. A little bit of gold too.
Yeah, just a little bit.
All right, that does it for us here on Seincast this week. Feel free to send us an email at seincast@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram.
So, Vinny, what episode are we going to be discussing next week?
We are discussing the 9th episode of Season 5, The Masseuse. And Matt, I think we should use different names for next week's episode.
Oh, I think that's a good idea.
What are you going to go with?
I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Ned. I'm the kind of guy who buys your regular underwear. What are you going to go with?
Remy.
But for now, I'm Ned.
I'm Remy.
Signing off. Seincast is not endorsed by Castle Rock Entertainment, Sony Pictures, or NBC. It is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Seinfeld, the Seinfeld logo, and all names, pictures, and audio of Seinfeld characters are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders.
Excuse me, but Mr. Costanza's car is being towed.